Hey guys, Jim here with another video for you. This is kind of a one-off, I think. This is going to be the 10 worst movies I have in my Blu-ray collection. The only caveat is that none of these movies were part of a box set because, quite honestly, I could have taken a couple of movies out of some of my box sets and included them in this video for sure. But these are 10 titles that I bought for one reason or another that I will never watch these movies again. Never. And they're basically just taking up space on my shelves. But before we begin, if you'd be so kind as to give me a like and a subscribe if you like what you see, and drop a comment below. Tell me about some of the titles you have in your collection that you are having buyer's regret for. So we're going to just go through these. We're going to start off with a couple of comedies, or should I say, they're supposed to be comedies, but they are not funny at all. The first one is A Million Ways to Die in the West from Seth MacFarlane, who created Family Guy. Liam Neeson, Charlize Theron, Neil Patrick Harris, MacFarlane, who is funny. I bought this blind, thought it would be really funny because I really like Ted and I like Family Guy, and my God, is this movie a piece of crap. When the highlight of this movie is Neil Patrick Harris taking a dump in his hat, and that is the funniest thing in the movie, you know you have problems. This movie is horrible. So yeah, that's number one, A Million Ways to Die in the West. Terrible. But it's not as bad as this one. Entourage, the movie. Why do I own this? Well, mainly because I really enjoyed the show when it was on, at least for the first, 5 years it was on, and then it kind of got bad. But I thought maybe with the movie they would tie up the show and make it real funny as a one-off, and oh my God, this movie's horrible. Best thing about this movie is a small cameo appearance from Liam Neeson, who happens to be in the other crappy movie that I just mentioned. But God, this movie is horrible. I would use this disc as a coaster at this point. I will never watch this piece of crap again. Another supposedly comedic movie, Gorp. Dennis Quaid, one of his very first movies. Fran Drescher from The Nanny. This was a movie that I saw on cable a lot when I was a kid. And it came out in 1980, so I was probably about 13 or 14 when I was watching it on cable. And yeah, I guess when I was 13 or 14, I had a horrible sense of humor because this movie is terrible. In every sense of the word. It is just horrible. This is an out-of-print Kino title. Good thing it's out of print. It's terrible. Okay, next we have a couple science fiction movies. This one I was extremely disappointed with when I got it. Again, it was a blind buy. Chappie. I really like Neil Blomkamp's District 9. I thought that was brilliant. And I'm one of the few people who actually enjoyed Elysium with Matt Damon. So when this movie came out, even though the reviews on it were mixed, I thought, hey, what the heck, the reviews were mixed on the last one and I enjoyed it, so I did. I bought this movie brand new. Oh my God, I barely got through it. And I did try to watch it once again because I thought, maybe upon a revisit I would enjoy it. No, still don't. Terrible movie. I'll never watch it again. Another one from my childhood that I had fond memories of at the time and thought was great. And upon reviewing, realized that, no, this movie's horrible. Damnation Alley from 1977. The ironic thing about this movie is that it came out the same year as Star Wars. Same studio, Fox. And this movie had a higher budget and a higher publicity campaign originally than Star Wars. They thought this was going to be the big hit and Star Wars would be a big flop, and my God, they couldn't have been more wrong. This movie is absolutely terrible. Unless you're in a mood to watch a bad movie and laugh at it, ironically, skip this piece of crap. Then we have undoubtedly the two worst superhero movies in my collection. And again, after Ragnarok, I had such high hopes for this movie. And unfortunately, Marvel just reached into my chest, pulled out my heart, threw it in a blender and hit frappe because this movie sucks in every way, which is a shame because, again, it could have been great. Christian Bale is the only reason to watch this movie, but not enough for me to watch it again. And along those lines, in this one, I was seriously disappointed in almost as much as the Thor movie, Wonder Woman 1984. I didn't have high hopes for the original Wonder Woman movie, and that movie's awesome. It's one of the best. I think it's probably the best DC movie, at least in the modern day DC movies, you know, except for Nolan's Batman movies. But my God, is this movie horrible? I mean, it's just horrible. The effects are bad, the writing's bad, the acting's bad. It's just a bad movie. Okay, the last three are horror movies, or at least they're supposed to be. This is The Legacy. This is a Scream Factory title. This is from 1978, and it stars Catherine Ross, Roger Daltrey, Sam Elliott, and Sam Elliott's mustache. And this movie is terrible. This was a blind buy. I remember seeing the commercials for this movie when I was a kid. I never saw it as a kid, but it always intrigued me, and I finally bought it, and my God, what a piece of shit. Yeah. This one I have nobody to blame but myself, because I knew this movie was bad before I bought this. But I bought it because it was cheap and because it had a slipcover. And you know what? It's not enough reason to own this movie because this movie's terrible. The original Pet Sematary is a classic. It's one of the scariest Stephen King movies of all time. This movie is a cash grab. And outside of Clancy Brown's unhinged performance, this movie is a total waste of time. Ugh. And finally, a double feature of horribleness for you. The House Where Evil Dwells and Ghost Warrior. I had never seen Ghost Warrior before I bought this disc. I bought this disc because I remembered The House Where Evil Dwells, sort of, when I was a child. And this is an out-of-print title, and I bought it, and I actually paid like $25 for this. And I watched both movies, and Jesus Christ, are they horrible. The House Where Evil Dwells still has a little bit of camp value to it, but Ghost Warrior has got to be one of the worst movies I've ever seen, period. It is so bad. And for $25, I could have donated that for charity, for would have done better for this, but oh yeah, total buyer's remorse on this. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little video. Again, in the comments, let me know about the movies that you're sitting on your shelf that every time you see them, you're like, why did I buy that? And until the next time,